Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging while coming at you with thoughts of the day and also having a hot flash. Remember, I wasn't even going to do a video today. I've been kind of busy, but remember the other day I was talking about how people misunderstand Saul Alinsky, a man whose name I love to say, Saul Alinsky. Saul Alinsky. It causes libertarians to clutch their pearls and run to the street for reasons because they're misquoting Saul Alinsky. Some of the quotes I've seen online and stuff are absolutely lies. They're fake. They're false. I don't know how else to put it in terms of our dear sweet Alinsky. So, remember I told you I actually read the Rules for Radicals, so long time ago. Another thing I've noticed that has been misquoted, and a lot of terms are interchangeable or strange that people say that they don't really know the meaning, so to speak. And I didn't used to either. I had to ask my dear sweet friend Judith M. Villeneuve a lot of questions. You know, what does communism mean? What does socialism mean? Or, you know, blah, blah, blah. We also have to think of the time, like, when certain things were written. For example, I want you to hang on, get ready to clutch your pearls. Yes, I've read it. It's more like a booklet or a essay, I guess some people would call it. Yeah, it takes a little, it's a little slower reading because I'm getting used to the language of the day. I'm getting used to bourgeoisie, and a proletariat, and all these words I didn't really get, which Judith M. Villeneuve cleared up for me, that dear communist woman. I'm kidding. Her parents came from Hungary. She's Hungarian. So, yeah, I've just noticed that, I don't know, things are misquoted or misunderstood, and this is especially true with Karl Marx. We have to remember the time in which he wrote was like 1848, I believe. I could look right here and see, couldn't I? Oh, for heaven's sakes. Now I don't know. I can't. Okay, well, I think it was 1848. And realize this was sort of a reaction to capitalism, or sort of a projection, or not a projection, what do you call it? Not a prophecy. How capitalism could go wrong, I guess. I can't think of the word. I'm terrible lately with that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I recommend something really wild. How about you read it? Not very long. Make sure people are quoting it correctly. Make sure people understand the whole premise behind this. Okay, like, let me give you an example of something. Fascism, by definition, is the merger of corporation and state, where corporations are directly in bed with the state to make the rules, to make the regulations, to run the government kind of deal. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? This type of thing has been in action in our country for a very long time, not just under Obama or, Clinton or whatever. I mean, this sort of creeping in of fascism has been happening for a while, but a lot of people aren't real familiar with what fascism is. And it's actual, the definition is the merger of the corporation with the state, and really because it benefits the corporations to have certain laws written in that benefit them, blah, 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 blah. Also, I've been looking at some really interesting videos about, I don't know, I've been hearing a lot of different things lately about how the United States really is a corporation, and that we are, more or less, the citizens are sort of, what's it called? The, like when you go get a car loan and they ask, what do you have to put up for collateral? That's it. For the banking cartel and stuff. It's really fascinating. I don't know a ton about it yet. I'm still trying to unpack it. The thing is, I find a nice series about it where they're really explaining about how in 1933, evidently, we declared bankruptcy and the gold was taken. You remember all that? And since then, we've kind of been, not really a country, or more or less a corporation. And I'll be going along in the video and garnering a lot of information, and then they'll come out with some kind of off-the-wall thing that doesn't necessarily mean the whole thing is wrong, what they're saying. And they do have various things to look up in terms of law, or they use a law book, Black's Law Dictionary, I think it's called, and stuff like that. But then they'll get to a point where They claim the separation, this person I was looking at, the video, they claim the separation of church and state is bogus. And look at this painting of all the founders bowing in prayer, on their knees praying to God and stuff. Do people realize that wasn't a Polaroid picture? Like, Glenn Beck used to do this jazz, like, oh, my favorite picture of George Washington, and it showed the white horse, and it was a snowstorm, I think, and George Washington is off the horse on the ground praying in the snow. So this convinces Glenn Beck that it really happened, like somebody was standing there during the storm, you know, oh my God, there's George Washington praying in the snow. Let me go ahead and whip out my art supplies. It's not a Polaroid picture, ladies and gentlemen. This could be for many reasons, to make people think that they're all... It doesn't matter if they were all evangelical Christians, which really didn't even exist back then, that particular brand of Christianity. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is they made a secular constitution. So even if they were evangelical types preaching from a mountaintop in their spare time, it did not work its way into the Constitution. And not to mention, I've been through this, and this is easily provable, that many of the founders, so-called founders, were Freemasons. A lot of our laws are based on Freemasonry, not on Christianity. I'm sorry. Do not blame the messenger. Take it up with the founding fathers. Okay. So that's all. I guess the bottom line of the video is, please, if you have time, like before you believe that Saul Alinsky said weird stuff or did something against nature or was a horrible person or whatever it is, maybe just take a look into Saul Alinsky and read the actual rules for radicals if you'd like, or take a look at the Constitution. I have a little one of those pocket ones in the house, and I was actually following along last night with a gentleman. He had some really good points. I'm not sure what's going on, but I've heard a lot about it lately, that really we have not been under the Constitution for a long time. A lot of people think this happened like when the Patriot Act came whipping in, and there's truth there, but there's also a school of thought with a lot of evidence, to back it up, that we've really been kind of living in a delusion here to think that we're anything less than a corporation. And it has to do with the city-states that I was talking about the other day. D.C., a portion of London where the banking industry is, and then the Vatican. According to a couple of gentlemen to whom I've listened, the gold is all like stored in the Vatican. I know this sounds kind of weird, but I'm just taking a look. But I do get dissuaded, is that the word? When suddenly they whip in stuff about separation of church and state isn't true, and they show photos of the everybody praying at the Constitutional Convention and act like it was a Polaroid taken on the spot. It's just, why are you doing this? It's just upsetting. And then they go on about how hideous Freemasons are, yet they praise the founding fathers. I don't get it, because George Washington definitely was one. Jefferson and I think it was Adams. I wrote them down, but I don't know where I put the paper. Several were. And like I said, I don't even know if that's a bad thing. Or remember I did the video about it? Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. And this goes with any group of which you might be a member. Like, say that you're a Catholic. You go to Mass, you do the deal, you do the rosary, the Hail Mary, full of grace, and all that stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know all the dirty details about the Vatican and what might go on there, and blah, 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 blah. You might just be a believer, and that's how you were raised. So, you know, in terms of the Mason thing, maybe there are some strange things at the very top. Now, I don't even know if that's true. But that doesn't mean that every Mason even knows about it. Okay, I'm really going all over the place here. I guess, like I said, please, before you leap on, you know, an author of a book or somebody who wrote from the 1800s on how, like, Karl Marx or something, maybe just look into their actual writings. That's all I ask, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, my God. Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging, trailing off my thought, forgetting words, and really, hopefully, being able to formulate a sentence so that you understand this. Please join together with me. Drop your political identities. Let's join together Focus on issues so that we can make this world a better place one day at a time. Boom, boom, boom.